Okay, good afternoon. We have with us Dr. Linda, which is her first name, right?
That's correct.
And I guess people find you by Dr. Linda. They don't need to look for your last name.
You can find me at DrLindaBerry.com.
Yeah.
And I'm also at DrLindaPainFree.com.
Okay.
The doctor is Dr, no punctuation, no period or anything, just Dr. LindaPainFree.com. Linda spelled with an I, and also DrLindaBerry.com.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. So you are gonna, when you say you're a doctor, I read briefly that you are a chiropractor. Are you still that?
I am a doctor of chiropractic, correct.
But you still practice?
I do practice.
Oh, you do practice it?
Correct.
Does it take a lot of strength to do all these movements?
Good question. You know, there are over 300 different chiropractic techniques, and I tend to do full body, head to toe, in and out, and I use my hands primarily, and I don't use a lot of force. I don't do the thrust and crunch kind of chiropractic care.
So different style then.
Correct.
Oh, it's more like I would compare Pilates to Turbo or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I don't know how to compare it in that regard.
No, I mean, it's softer kind of chiropractic.
Yeah, it's more gentle. It works with your body. It's not forcing anything in your body. It's working with the intelligence of your body.
Okay. And you don't need to apply force to move a bone?
No, you don't. You know, muscles move bones. That's a good question. So if a muscle is tight and pulling on one side, it's going to pull the bone out of place. So one way you can do it is to get in there and thrust and put a lot of force and adjust the bone with a big crack. Another way you can do it is to take the ends of the muscle and stretch apart on the muscle. It helps to do it with breathing, and press together on the middle part of the muscle, and that makes the muscle lengthen and relax so the bone goes back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And after you do that, the patient is relaxed.
The patient is relaxed as they can be. I always try to get people really comfortable on the table.
Yeah.
So generally they start out lying on their back. We sometimes put a pillow under their knees because sometimes people are more comfortable that way. It puts you into more of a womb-like position, so you feel more safe and comfortable.
Okay.
So then people can relax on the table, and then I work on them. I use a system called applied kinesiology, and that involves muscle testing. So I might have them lift their arm like this and have them push up while I push down and see how strong the muscle is.
Okay.
Yeah. So and then put a hand on a spot on the body and then see if the muscle stays strong.
Okay.
And if the muscle gets weak, that says we have to do something to that spot where I was touching.
But like you said, if a patient is weak, then it would be hard to keep the muscle in place.
Weakness doesn't necessarily have to do with the muscle strength. So the muscle, it's not a test of strength. It's actually a test to just see if the joint is going to lock in place.
Oh.
So you can use a big muscle that requires a lot more strength for the patient to hold it up, or you can use a smaller, strong muscle like the bicep muscle for the testing that doesn't take a lot of work. So even if a person's weak, generally they can push up with their arm because, you know, we do that all day. We
Okay, so
lift things to our
they
mouth.
can do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So even if the patient is weak, they can do the basic movements. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, generally everybody's able to do a muscle test unless they're comatose, and then they're not my patient.
Oh, okay, okay. So you do the muscle test, but then when you move the muscle, you want the muscle to stay the way you moved it, right?
Yeah, so there's reflexes in the body. We have an intelligent nervous system. Our brain is the command center, and then nerves come from our brain down our spine and go out to all the parts of our body.
Right.
So when a vertebra in your spine is misaligned, that can interfere with the nerve flow. We call it the target. It could be an organ, it could be a gland, it could be a muscle.
Okay.
So when I press on the ends of the muscle, I'm stimulating something called the Golgi tendon organs. So when you pull apart on the Golgi tendon organs, it automatically sends a message to your brain for that muscle to relax.
Okay.
And then when you press on the middle of the muscle, it's called the belly of the muscle or the muscle spindle cells. You just push together like that. That again sends a message to your nervous system to tell that muscle to relax. So when the muscle relaxes, then the alignment improves.
Okay. But it has to stay that way.
You know, we're always changing. We're not fixed.
Okay.
So yeah, you want it to last. So that's why I work on the whole body.
Okay.
Because people can have imbalances in their feet, for instance. And if they're walking funny on their feet and their big toe is stuck and not moving, that can cause problems up the rest of the body.
That's true.
Yeah. Inside of our body, we have something called fascia. And fascia is like saran wrap. It wraps around everything and keeps everything in place. And if you have an accident, for instance, where you had a whiplash, then your neck gets stiff, then it affects the fascia not only in your neck, but everywhere in your body. So it's the entry point. Where do you start working with a patient to help them feel better?
All right. So they come to you, they are in pain, correct? Usually.
Usually.
Okay. So you said it's a pain-free clinic, right? So what do you do to get them pain-free?
I use a lot of unique tools in order to help them get healthy. Actually, I should have told you, I have off camera some things that we could show the audience that will show them the model that I use and also show them the book that I use.
I can stop it, go get it.
Okay. So what I use is this model.
Oh, yeah.
And what, can you see that well?
I see mental, emotional, spiritual. And then I see biochemical, electromagnetic, structural, health heaven.
Yeah. So this is the model that I use when a patient comes in. What we want to do is get the patient to health haven. That's the circle. That's where you're feeling good, you're comfortable in your body, you're aware, you're alert, but you're feeling okay in your body. And there's forces in 4 different realms or directions that can take you away from that. There could be physical problems, there could be chemical problems, it could be your head, mind, your mental or emotional or spiritual state, and there could be problems with electromagnetics. So I have tools in each of these categories to bring people back to health haven, to bring them back to feeling good in their body again.
Okay. So when we look at your profile, you say 7 steps for pain free.
Yeah.
Is it in one day or is it in 7 days?
Oh, you can do them at any time. So if you go to DrLindaPainFree.com, you'll see there's 7 steps laid out there. And those are things that you can do on a daily basis to help yourself get better. So, for instance, posture is very important. If you're slumped like this, that puts a lot of pressure on the nerves in your neck and also on your low back and can cause low back pain.
So it's an ongoing step.
It's an ongoing step, that's right.
Oh, okay. So it's not they have to see you 7 times. Okay.
No. This is just information that you can do at home.
Okay.
In order to get out of pain.
All right. So 7. It's not really a step. Then it's more like 7
I call
advice.
it the 7 secrets to getting out of pain.
Oh, it's not 7 steps. It's 7 secret. Okay. So that's the first one.
Yeah, there's the physical ones. I'm not going to go through all of them.
But they are listed on your website.
They are listed on the website. And you need to eat right in order to stay out of pain. Did you know that some foods that you eat can increase inflammation and pain?
Right.
Whereas other foods can decrease inflammation and pain. So that's another important step. And then...
Like sugar and spices, spicy food.
Well, spicy foods can actually help decrease inflammation. Cayenne or capsicum, turmeric,
they can
ginger,
decrease it.
that helps to decrease inflammation in the body.
Okay, so I was wrong there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but sugar you're right about, and then refined carbohydrates like white flour products.
Yeah.
And also saturated fats. So the kind of animals that people eat that are mega industry ones.
Very, very fat containing.
Yeah, and there's saturated fats. We need
Like
some
bacon,
saturated
like bacon.
fats. Right,
Okay.
exactly, like bacon. But any kind of commercially raised animal is going to be high in a fat called arachidonic acid.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we need arachidonic acid for our brain, but the American diet is way too high in that fat.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So we need to balance that with what are called the omega-3 fatty acids.
But the sugar part is true, because I used to drink every morning a drink loaded with sugar, and after a while I had pain in my legs, and then I met someone at a networking event, and she said, "Well, you have to look at what you take inside." So she said, "Do you take a lot of sugar?" I said, "Yeah, a lot of sugar, a lot of sugar." So she said, "If you decrease your sugar intake, then the pain will lessen." And that's what I did this week. I didn't drink the morning sugary drink, and the pain did go away.
Fantastic.
It's like the vein were flowing better.
Yeah, sugar promotes inflammation, and inflammation creates pain.
Right?
It affects the hormone balance in your body. So it's very disruptive. When we didn't have refined sugar in our normal diet that we would just gather, we ate maybe 20 to 40 grams of sugar a day. But now the average American has over 150 grams of sugar in their diet in a day. You can see that's an enormous amount. And
with the sugar drinks, right?
yeah, and you know, in the United States, more than 60% of the population is fat, and 30 to 40% of those people are obese. So sugar is something that definitely contributes to that problem.
And it's not expensive. You can buy like 5 pounds sugar for only like $3. It's very cheap.
Yeah, and it makes things taste good. And it's addictive.
Okay.
You know, one of the problems is the weight causes pressure on the joints, and that makes them hurt, right? So the more weight we lose, the more our blood pressure goes down. There's also a problem with blood pressure, and the better our body feels. Now, what sugar does is it increases your need for more calories. So inside your brain, there's an appetite control center. So when you've eaten enough calories, you get this message, okay, I'm full, I don't have to eat anymore. But whenever you eat sugar, it increases the amount of calories that you need to eat before that appetite control center says enough. So
you have
keep
to
getting
balance
fatter.
the sugar with non-sugary food. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Is that what it is? And because until it feels balanced, then you keep on eating non-sugary food.
Well, it's just a matter of the amount of sugar. So the amount of simple sugar that goes into your body, it increases this control center's need for calories. It doesn't have to do with the balance of the other foods. It has to do with just how much sugar you have. Okay. So the study was done with rats. They gave some rats their normal rat chow, and they gave other rats their rat chow with sugar in it. And the rats with the rat chow with sugar in it got fatter.
Really?
Yeah. And then they increased the amount of sugar in the rat chow again, and the rats got even more fatter.
Because the sugar converts to fat.
The sugar demands more calories. It makes you eat more and more and more. And sugar gives you a quick high. It makes you feel great instantly because your blood sugar goes up, your brain gets a lot of food, and you think, oh, things are good. But then it comes crashing down.
Right.
So then your body craves more sugar. So that's why it's addictive. So if instead of going like this and this and this, caffeine does the same thing actually.
Oh, okay.
Caffeine causes your blood sugar to go up and then it comes crashing down.
Okay.
But if you keep your sugar levels like this, smoothly flowing in a mid-plane by eating a lot of vegetables with fiber, by eating high fiber-rich foods like nuts and beans and whole grains, then your blood sugar is going to stay like this. And also you need a right amount of protein. So you talked about the balance of foods. It's called macronutrients. So that's really important, you're right. You need to have a good amount of protein, a good amount of carbohydrates, and a good amount of fats. We need all of those categories. But we need the right kind of fats. We need omega-3 fats that come from grass-fed animals and also from wild fish.
Okay.
And then there's one vegetarian source, which is a plant called purslane. Then you need the right kind of protein. And the best protein is actually whey powder.
Nobody ever heard of purslane.
Purslane, oh, it grows in people's wild places. It likes a lot of water. It's kind of like a succulent. One of my patients...
but it's not in
it's
a
not
store.
common.
It's not in a
common.
store.
You can maybe find it at a farmer's market, or if you garden, you could try growing it in your own garden. It's a strong plant like a
How
weed.
do you spell it?
Purslane. Purslane.
Never, first time in my life I hear.
Ah,
Never heard of it.
yeah.
So people do use that?
Yeah, you could eat that. Not, and again, it's not a lot. So your most reliable source will be from things like wild salmon or grass-fed beef.
Mm-hmm.
And then also you can take a supplement of omega-3 fats. I recommend a company that's really pure. Am I allowed to say that on television?
No.
Okay.
I mean, omega-3, they're all over the place in the
but
shelves.
you have to be very careful because some of the omega-3s are processed with petrochemicals, with gasoline products, and you don't want those. And some of them have a lot of mercury because of the kind of fish they come from. So you need to research your sources.
If you go on Amazon, there's maybe 100 omega-3.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So you have to be very careful.
So do you have to type something next to it, omega-3 something?
No, you need to do research onto the most pure omega-3. So you can Google most pure omega-3 and you'll get a lot of information that you can research. There's actually an
omega-3, but so you go on Amazon, you say most pure omega-3 and they will show you?
Yeah, then you'll be able to do your own research on that.
Okay.
Or you can contact me personally through the information you have and I'll tell you what I use if you prefer.
Okay, if people not sure, they can contact you. That makes sense. Okay, so it's Linda, DrLindaPainFree.com. That makes sense. Anyway, you are on LinkedIn, so everybody should be able to find you.
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook as Linda Berry and
Linda
also
Berry.
DrLinda Berry.
Is it with the A or E?
Berry is just like spelling the fruit, berry,
It's an E.
B-E-R-R-Y, yeah.
Okay, it's
and
an E.
Linda is spelled with an I.
Okay. So anyway, so basically, your email is Linda at Dr.
It's Dr. Linda at drlindaberry.com.
Got it. Okay. All right. So going back to what you do. So your specialty is healing.
Right.
Healing every kind of things, whether it's pain of the muscle or pain of the mind or pain of the spirit, right? Is that what I see there?
That's correct.
Okay. So if someone is okay physically, then they might come to see you for another problem,
That's
distress,
right.
for distress, right?
That's right.
And what do you do at that point? You don't touch them?
I can touch them. There's trauma healing techniques where the patient gets to lay down on the table and I can put my hands under their ankles or by their neck or wherever it hurts on their body where they feel comfortable. And then we just sit and they track what's going on. These are trauma healing techniques.
Okay.
So when patients come to me for that, they're in a semi-altered state and they reduce the amount of trauma in their body with the guided work that we do together. And also, if they're just coming for their diet, I don't touch them. If they want help with their nutrition, for instance, they want to know what is an anti-inflammatory diet. So then I coach them and we sit in chairs just like this.
And you tell them?
And I tell them, and generally we record the session so they have that to take with them.
Why would touching them heal their trauma?
Well, we know that babies that aren't touched die without touch. They might get the right amount of nutrition and everything.
Touch.
Human beings need touch. And putting your hands on somebody, there's a long tradition of laying of the hands, just
Okay.
putting hands on people and it healing them.
Okay.
So touch is very soothing and something most people don't get in their normal doctor's visit. Their doctor's typing away on the keyboard because they've got to enter the records. They're asking them questions, they never touch them, and they give them a prescription.
Okay.
So that's our standard visits with the doctor. So we don't get a lot of human contact. Some patients even complain the doctor doesn't even look them in the eye because they're typing. They're too busy typing. So that human-to-human contact is very important. One of the first things people want is to be seen. They want to be safe, but they also want to be seen. They want to be heard. So just listening to a patient, putting your hands on them in appropriate healing manner can be very healing.
Okay. Okay. And they tell you what their trauma is, or you just don't worry about that part?
That's a very good question. For some people, when they think of their trauma, it just brings it all back and it causes them to get sick and upset in their body.
So it's better not to.
So for some people, we don't look at the trauma at all. We just look at maybe where in your body.
It's
Do you
showing.
feel the tension?
Oh.
And then work from there. But some people don't even feel comfortable feeling their body because they've been so traumatized. So for those people, you're working mostly with the imagination and the mind
Oh. Okay.
in the trauma healing sessions.
And these people who have trauma, they refer to you by, let's say, SF General's Trauma Center?
No, it's generally other patients who've been seeing me, or they might find me on the website, or there might be a psychotherapist or a medical doctor,
So
an
it's not referred
acupuncturist.
to you through a city, county, or...
No, I'm not a city or county employee or worker, no.
Okay, okay. But that's harder for you, no? If you don't get referrals from the hospitals.
Well, yeah.
Because it's all on you to figure it all out.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, you have been around for a while?
Yeah, I've been in practice, Eileen, for 35 years.
Okay. So you are like word of mouth kind of person now?
Yeah, I also have a website. I wrote this book, Internal Cleansing, and some people contact me because of my book, Internal Cleansing. On my website, I also have a CD about breast health. Where I live in Marin County, we have the highest incidence of breast cancer in women in any place in the world.
And they're not poor there.
No, it's not an issue of being poor. And so I had a call the other day from a woman who wanted to purchase my breast health CD, so sometimes people get in touch with me through that. I meet people at network meetings, and I have patients and colleagues who send me patients.
No, what I'm saying is that you said Marin County, and I'm very surprised because like 20 years ago was the Bayview district that had the highest cancer because the
Breast
South...
cancer or cancer in general? I think
No,
cancer in general.
Cancer in general.
Yeah.
But breast cancer, is that due for something people in Marin do?
Yeah, I believe it has a lot to do with the amount of alcohol that women in Marin drink. On a national standard, only 40% of women drink alcohol. But in Marin County, 70% drink alcohol.
Oh, okay.
And women have a much impaired, they don't process alcohol as well as men do. It's just in our genetics.
Oh, okay.
So it's said that women should have no more than 2 glasses of wine a week. And some women are drinking wine every night. We have
That's
Napa
not good.
Valley and
Oh.
Sonoma Valley with all of these wonderful wines.
So you came to that conclusion on your own?
No, it's in studies.
Oh.
It's in studies, the relationship of alcohol and women and breast cancer.
But it's the first time I hear it.
Well, I'm glad you're hearing it then.
No, what I'm saying is that every October there's a breast cancer campaign, right? And I never heard that wine has something to do with it.
Well, in the United States, we're very motivated by greed and by money. So what gets press are things like breast cancer surgery and chemotherapy. That's what's funded in terms of care for women.
Oh, okay, okay.
Not preventative measures and not non-drug or non-surgical solutions.
Okay. But I do see that this year, especially this year, that now they advise women not to do the mammogram because it does cause breast cancer. I saw it a lot, more than previous years. But maybe it's people are taking consciousness of the danger of mammograms. I don't know. But it's all over the place now that you should not do mammograms. You should do hydro something.
There are a number, and I talk about this in my breast health CD, there are a number of ways to diagnose if a woman has breast cancer. If you've got a lump, the best way is for the woman to feel her breasts on a daily basis.
That's
her or her partner.
That's a little bit too hard, too late.
Well, no, not necessarily. But if you have a condition called DCIS, ductal carcinoma in situ, meaning the abnormal cells are contained within the milk ducts, even if women don't breastfeed, we all have milk ducts.
Oh, then it comes out.
Mammogram doesn't show. It doesn't show up in the non-mammogram type of testing.
Okay.
So mammograms are an important part of finding out if women have breast cancer. And I've recently been speaking with oncologists, and they say that mammograms don't increase the risk of breast cancer, but you need to be prudent about everything that you do.
Okay.
Certainly.
Okay. Okay. No, because in Marin County, they have a company that does hydrologic tests, but
thermography you might be thinking about. They do
maybe
heat
it's
sensitive.
Yeah, is that good?
Yeah, that's helpful. That's one of the methods. There's nothing that's 100%.
All right.
But that's a good method to help diagnose.
Sorry, I'm so ignorant about the term.
Yeah.
But thermography is the term, yes. Now it's coming back to me. I saw it somewhere.
Yeah, it's thermography, yeah.
And but it started in Marin County.
It's all over. There's thermography in lots of different places around the country. It's not just in Marin County. But yeah, there are some businesses in Marin County that use thermography to examine women's breast health.
Okay, and women prefer that?
Like I said, it doesn't show everything.
Oh, okay.
So mammograms, thermograms.
Show better.
You can also get a urine test to show what the balance of your hormone metabolites are.
Oh,
There's
really?
3 main hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. But there's 25 different kinds of estrogens in women, and there's 125 in horses. So if we look at some of the estrogen metabolites, they're proliferative, or they cause the increase in the growth of cells. So you want to be very careful about that kind of estrogen. And then there's another kind of estrogen that suppresses the proliferation or competes with that estrogen that can increase the growth of cancer cells. So if you get this urine test done, you can see what your ratio is between those 2 kinds of estrogens.
Okay.
And I talk about this in my breast health CD, and 19 years before it shows up as abnormal, you can see that there's an indication in the urine that these hormones are out of balance.
But if you drink a lot of water, it won't show, right?
Because of course it will show.
It will?
Of course.
The water will dilute it, no?
It's not a problem.
No?
Whenever you get a lab test, there's always specific instructions you need to follow when you get the lab test. So as long as you get the lab test and follow the instructions, there's no problem.
All right. No, because the intake of water make the urine look light or dark or medium. Or
Yeah, and most people don't drink enough water. So that's one of my 7 secrets, is to drink enough water to get out of pain.
Oh.
If we don't have enough water in our body, the toxins collect, and that causes pain. The cushions between our bone, the cartilage, isn't as plump as it can be.
Okay.
So the bones get too close and rub and cause pain.
Okay.
Even our digestive system needs water to protect the cellular wall, the inside of your stomach, the inside of your intestines, need to have enough water so that the strong digestive enzymes that are produced don't burn holes in the wall of your intestines.
Yeah, the problem is people are very busy during the day and they forget to drink.
Yeah, so that's why you need to do something like I'm doing. Have a bottle of water with you at all times.
So you don't forget.
So you drink throughout the day, yeah.
So you drink even if you're not super, super thirsty.
Well, you know, that's a trained response. So people who haven't been drinking water, they're not going to have the thirst. Their mind has suppressed the thirst response because it's so frustrated because this dumb human being didn't give them the water they needed.
So it's suppressed.
Yeah, yeah. So once you start drinking water, if you're not drinking enough water and you don't feel thirsty, start drinking it anyway. It's best to drink no more than 5 ounces at a time.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. But most people, when they're thirsty, I see them in the office, they rush to get a cup of coffee.
Right.
It has water in it. It's okay.
But coffee is also diuretic. It causes you to pee out more water.
Right.
So,
but it's liquid.
In the long run, you may be doing yourself harm by doing that. It is liquid, and a normal medical doctor will say that coffee counts as water. But what's always best is just to get plain, pure, clear water in a glass container and drink that.
Okay, even if they don't like the taste. I mean, if there's no taste.
You know, there's a lot of ways to make water more interesting. You can put essential oils in, like a little drop of mint oil. Or you can slice cucumbers. You can put oranges in the water so it has a little taste, yeah.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Where I go at Phil's Coffee, they put mint leaves in the big water container.
Yes, very nice.
And it tastes very good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, but they don't do it every day. They do it on Friday. Maybe it costs too much to put all these mints. But it tastes really good. It's refreshing. It's very good. So we at least touched on 3 of your secrets today by not wanting to touch on all of them. So we touched on the water, we touched on the sugar, and we touched on the third one.
Posture.
And the posture.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's good to know. So those things contribute to pain.
Yes. And those are solutions.
And they are solutions. And also what could cause stress would be to watch bad news on TV.
I agree. Absolutely. One of my mentors used to say, pick up your newspaper at the front door. Now, he was a man. And then he walks through his house. He takes out the sports section, throws the rest of the newspaper away, goes into the kitchen and reads the sports section.
It's more fun.
Yeah.
It's more fun.
Well, for that person, he likes to read the sports section. I just don't get the newspaper. When I went to college, I decided I wanted to be a well-educated adult. So I got a subscription to the New York Times. But after looking at it for 3 weeks and seeing these ugly white men who were messing up our world, I got so depressed I didn't want to get out of bed. So I canceled my subscription.
They do have they used to have a funny section,
right.
But now they canceled it.
Yeah, not in the New York Times.
They still have the funny section.
They don't have it in the New York Times, but they have the Times Magazine, which is sometimes interesting, and they also have fashion, and they also have arts. Those are the sections that I would read.
Those are good.
Yeah.
So you pick these sections
to
see what's going on in theater and everything.
Well, you know, there's so many things available. We've got the internet, right? You can go to your phone and just what's new in your zip code, you know. So
that's true.
Yeah, we don't need to mess with newspapers anymore.
Yeah, okay. They don't, I mean, you're
right.
They
won't like me saying that.
They don't. But even you can subscribe to the New York Times online and they would put the main articles in it.
And then you're spending too much time in front of your computer screen. That can be a problem too, can't it?
Yeah, well, you can't win them all, can we?
And that disturbs people's sleep too, if they're spending time in front of the screen all day long and late at night.
I don't know about that. If your job is to be in front of the screen, you're going to sleep because you're tired, not because you're in front of the screen.
You know, if you talk to people who help people who have sleep problems, one of the first things they'll tell you is stop looking at your computer after 8 o'clock at night.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Oh, I look at it until I fall asleep.
Yeah.
Isn't that something a lot of people do?
I'm not that person.
No, what
so-
I do is I multitask. I can talk to someone on the phone. Like yesterday, someone was talking to me for an hour and 10 minutes. So I said, I'm going to do something while that person talks to me. So I was doing stuff. I was multitasking.
Yeah. Do you have trouble sleeping at night?
No, I slept good last night. I
No.
woke up a couple times though. I mean, 2 minutes, then go back.
So people who have trouble sleeping, if you have trouble sleeping, that's one of the things that you would look at doing,
Okay.
is changing your habits with the computer.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's part of our lives now. You cannot deny that. I mean,
No, of
everybody,
course not.
we
I have
carry a
cell
computer
phone.
everywhere.
I watch DVDs.
Yes,
You know, I work on the computer. How do you think I wrote my book?
on the computer.
On the computer, right? I spend a lot of
So
time.
it's part of our.
We have to look at balance in our life.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. There's also this lady. She came to talk. The Huffington Post editor, Ariana.
Mhm.
She came to speak 2 or 3 years ago at Dreamforce, and she said, at 6 o'clock, turn off your computer.
Mhm.
Because she's also into meditation and well-being and all that.
Yeah.
So she didn't come to talk to the crowd about her newspaper. She
Mhm.
came to talk about spiritual well-being.
Oh, huh, beautiful. Interesting.
She's into that too.
Mhm.
So anyway, this year I think we have Michelle Obama who's going to be a guest. It's going to be very interesting.
Mhm.
So, tell us about your event where you're going to be yourself a speaker.
So I am going to be this Wednesday. I'm going to be at the TAM Community Services District. It's at 203 Marin Avenue in Mill Valley, and the event happens from 1:30 to 3:30. And there are a number of things that are
Speakers.
going to be presented. I'm going to be talking about getting out of pain. Dr. Sheikh, who's a medical doctor, will be talking about health through the decades. What do you need to think about when someone's 10? What do you need to think about when someone's 30? What do you need to think about when someone's 60 or 80?
Okay.
And then Tarika Lovegarden.
So each in different rooms, and people will pick the room they like.
Yeah. And Tarika Lovegarden is going to talk about meditations on the fridge. So mindfulness in eating.
Oh, okay.
And then Cindy Colason, she's going to be speaking about food and fitness. So it's going to be really fun. We'll be up on stage. We're going to introduce ourselves in a minute, and then I'm going to do 5 minutes of Qigong, and Tarik's going to do 5 minutes of a walking meditation, and then Cindy's going to have us tromping around and doing some fitness and exercise together, and then everybody will get to move to a different corner of the building, and they'll get to speak to us individually.
I think I've seen your name at the Living Expo. Am I correct? Did you ever speak there?
I did it many years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are a public speaker.
I am a public speaker. That's correct.
Okay. Do you do that for fun, or is it also part of your profession?
Well, you know, my mission, my vision in the world is to eliminate suffering and to elevate well-being. And that's why I wrote my book. You know, I can see somebody one-to-one, but this went around the world. And also it was actually translated into Korean.
Really?
So that way I can help people on a much broader basis. And if I'm in front of a big audience, the bigger the better, the more people that,
Oh, you get the word out.
that learn things, how to take care of themselves.
It seems like a very thick book. Can you sum it up?
Sure. So the beginning of the book is how we get into trouble. And I'm looking at research and, for instance, the combination of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs and alcohol. It can be deadly. So I talk about that in here.
Oh.
I talk about different cleansing programs that are available. There's questionnaires in here that help you figure out whether you need cleansing or not. Then there's also a section where there's recipes, and there's 3 different cleansing programs that are mentioned in here. And in the end, there's a resource section, appendix, for where they can find the things that I recommend that they use in the book.
Okay. So it's not a simple one-step
Solution.
solution.
No, not at all.
It's different things.
It's different things because all of us are different. You know, we're all as individual as our fingerprints. So what works for you may not work for me.
Okay. No, because I see herbs on the cover, so those
Yeah.
herbs are cleansing herbs.
Yeah, absolutely. Clover is very good for cleansing the blood. Apples are good for our liver and our gallbladder and for the fiber. And then this silk on the corn is also very good for healing in the body. And those are ingredients in a particular product that I recommend in the book.
Oh, okay, okay. Apples, I mean, people eat apples in the fall.
Yeah, well, you've heard that expression, an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's because it has fiber.
Well, fiber is one of the things. It's also high in pectin, which helps to bind toxins in our intestines.
Okay.
It also has vitamin C. Vitamin C is a wonderful nutrient that helps to decrease inflammation and make our joints and tendons stronger.
Okay, so when you go shopping, I mean, there's probably so many products that you recommend in here. How do you cut it down to not buying the whole supermarket?
Yeah, that's a good question. So what I recommend is that you work with someone who's knowledgeable, or do a lot of research yourself on the internet. Another possibility is if you want a particular type of nutrient, to go to the nutrient buyer in the store, the person who's responsible for buying the supplements, and ask which one sells the best. Because the one that sells the best is the one that people are going to buy over and over and over again. Why? Because it helps them.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but when you are in the fruit and vegetable section, there's so many choices, right?
Right. Yeah.
So you cannot eat all this in a week. So you eat maybe a little bit of this week and a little bit of that next week.
Yeah. So
Is that
here's
the
a
way you do it?
principle. It's called Eat with the Rainbow, and I talk about that in my book. So you want to eat different color foods. Different color foods have different nutrients in it, and our body needs all those nutrients. So you want to eat blue blueberries. You want to eat orange carrots. You want to eat red strawberries.
So pick one of each.
Not
Which one?
necessarily.
Pick first of all something you like, so
Well-
you will eat it.
Well, I would like to challenge people. You know, a lot of people say, I don't like vegetables or I don't like to drink water. I would encourage you to challenge yourself and get over it because your body needs it. I read this article by a food critic, and the food critic said that they felt that they weren't going to be a really good food critic because they disliked so many foods. So that food critic challenged themselves, and they would try a food 5 times in a row.
Okay.
And if they didn't like it after the 5th time, well, then they wouldn't eat it again. But, you know, they
Okay.
found sometimes if they ate it, that they ended up liking it very much, or they didn't mind it.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I did that experiment on myself.
Mm-hmm.
So for a long time when I was little, I would say I don't like tomatoes,
Right.
and I wouldn't touch tomatoes. So my cousin said, "Why don't you try it at least once or twice, and you'll see they're not that bad."
Right.
And that's what I did, and I
Yeah.
found out they're not that bad.
All right, a testimonial right here. I encourage you to follow that. But also, there's an app that you can get for your phone or a website you can go to. It's the Environmental Working Group.
Yeah.
So their initials are EWG. So you can get an app on your phone called the Dirty Dozen. And when that loads, you'll see the 13 foods. They actually give you a bonus one. The 13 foods that you should never eat unless they are organic because they're so high in pesticides that they're really bad for you. Strawberries and apples are usually at the top of the list. Then there's the Clean 15, and you get that as a bonus when you download the Dirty Dozen app.
Oh, okay.
So when you look at the Clean 15, you can see the foods that are fine to eat even if they're not organic. And this can really help you with your budget. For instance, avocados. Non-organic avocados are perfectly fine to eat, and they're $1 less than organic avocados. And the same thing with melons. Melons are fine to eat, even if they're not organic. So is asparagus. Those are some pricey items if they're organic. So you can save yourself some money. And what EWG says, and it's backed by research, that you can decrease 90% of the pesticides in your diet if you only follow these simple rules.
Oh, okay. That
And if
sounds
you
good.
don't have a phone that can have an app, don't worry. You can go to the website ewg.org and
Dirty Dozen?
you can download on a piece of paper
The
all
Dirty
these
Dozen?
foods, the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15, and take it with you to the supermarket.
Did you do that once?
I did that originally, and now they have the app. So now I have the app.
You bring it to your supermarket.
I bring it to the supermarket with me, yeah.
That's So it'd be funny to shop with the phone in your hand, right?
Well, most people are anyway, right? Because they're talking to people or looking at their list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So you do use your phone for shopping. That's interesting. So, but as a doctor, you remember most of it, right?
Well, I just was able to tell you, but I don't remember everything. Like I might wonder, what about plums?
Yeah.
How are they on the Clean 15 or the Dirty Dozen?
So you have
then
to
I
look it
look
up?
that up. Yeah.
Plums, how are they? Because I eat plums.
I don't remember.
Are they Dirty Dozen?
I can look it up on my phone. Should I go get it?
No, I don't want you to disconnect just
Okay.
for that.
All right.
But I will look it up.
Yeah.
So I go
encourage you
to Google
No,
Dirty
don't Google. Just in the search bar, in the browser bar.
Yeah, dirtydozen.com.
No, just do ewg.org.
Oh,
And then that's their website. Or you could Google Dirty Dozen.
all right, sounds good. So I'll look up. And do you have a memory? A recall of bananas because they have a skin on it, so it doesn't matter if there's pesticide.
Yeah, I don't remember. I can't eat bananas because they give me a headache, so that's not something I keep in my head.
Okay. No, because to me, logically, is organic or non-organic, they're protected by the skin.
Yeah, but they're sprayed oftentimes before the skin is developed, so it might be right in the cells, the inner cells of the fruit. I know that if you go to
grow on trees.
I know, but they start from a flower. The banana doesn't all of a sudden appear on the plant.
Okay, so
It
the
starts
flower
with a flower,
might be infected.
and if the flower is sprayed with pesticides, and if it's sprayed when the skin is still thin, it depends on the spraying schedule of the particular
Interesting.
food. Now, if you go to a foreign country, there's different bugs in their water and their foods than is in our food. It's not necessarily that it's dirty or bad. It's just that our digestive system is not adapted to the microbiome, the microorganisms. So eating a fruit like a banana, if you're in a foreign country, instead of eating something like an apple, where you don't take the peel off the orange. Now that's definitely a strategy to keep you from getting sick. But as far as whether the pesticides go through bananas or not, I'm afraid I don't remember.
No, for me it made complete sense to eat anything that's protected by a skin.
Yeah, but it might not be protected from pesticides. You have to do further research.
Okay. So, because the avocado is protected by the skin, and the food that you just mentioned.
Asparagus doesn't have a skin, but it's okay.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So that blows your rule.
Okay, so it has nothing to do with the skin.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
See, I jumped to conclusion again. All right. So, this is all interesting. I mean, you can learn so much.
It's endless. That's one of the beauties of being alive, is every day we can learn something new.
I learned a couple things today, but that's, maybe more than two. You're right. We, even though we are very well informed online, there's maybe things we just pass over our head and we're not aware of it.
We all have our blind spots, right? I'm listening to a book on tape about Elon Musk.
Yeah.
I have no knowledge of solar energy or rocket ships or the Tesla autonomics, but he probably doesn't know anything about taking good care of himself. In fact, I know he doesn't because of what I've listened to about how he's had to live in order to become successful.
The CEO of Tesla?
I don't know if he's the CEO of Tesla or not, but he's the biggest, he owns the company.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw his name this week in the news, but I don't know if it's because he's speaking somewhere. But anyway, I'm sure he's speaking Ted Seth is coming to San Francisco, I think in October. I'm not sure. Do you like Ted's talk?
Yeah, there are some of them that are just fantastic.
Yeah, so they're coming to San Francisco.
Uh-huh.
So I was wondering if he is going to be one of the speakers. I have to look it up.
Well, his latest project, he's involved in these 3 companies, but he also wants to get us on Mars. That's his driving passion and ambition.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. He wants to create a colony on Mars. Before we mess up the Earth and destroy it, he wants to make sure we've got another place where humanity is established.
That's a good one. But meanwhile, we have to live here.
And we have these bodies. You know, if they would only teach us in grade school that this is made out of material.
Yeah.
You know, we take care of our cars, we brush our teeth, but we don't necessarily take care of the rest of our body because we don't know. We're not trained to know how to take care of it.
Okay, we know what works for us, like you said. If we don't feel good eating something, we're not going to eat it again. But our body is our test, right?
Your own laboratory is what I tell people. But for instance, with the water, you know, sometimes we suppress our body's natural inclinations so much that we can't listen to our body.
Yeah, I heard that part because I heard that in a senior hospital, they forget to drink.
Right.
Because they don't have the thirst.
Yeah.
So that's another topic. That's aging.
Right.
Aging, you don't get the instinct.
Yeah, and
to
sometimes
drink.
people, you know, most of us are nutrition deficient. And so it can even affect our appetite. So as we get older, some people just lose their sense of taste. And they don't want to, you know, they're not so excited to eat because they can't taste.
Oh, I heard that too, yeah.
If you look back, that might be related to a zinc deficiency. Because if we don't have enough zinc, we can't taste very well.
Okay. So that's so many things to consider.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, I went to those senior thing, and what they serve them is, first of all, tasteless.
Mm.
So even if you have appetite, you would not eat it.
Mm.
So that's also one thing that needs a lot of remedies in these places. But plus, they basically serve pretty much something similar every day. It's not that much variety, and I don't know how these people stay alive, because I wouldn't personally eat it, and they eat it. But you got to be very, very hungry to eat that.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Well, variety is the spice of life, right? And we talked about eating in the rainbow of foods.
Yeah.
So we want to eat a variety of different foods. Generally, the way that we're healthiest is to eat different foods all the time instead of eating the same food all the time.
Right, right. And so some also refuse to eat. They leave everything on the plate.
That's a mental disease.
No.
Yeah.
Some refuse that kind of food, and they just leave it on the plate.
Mm.
So they might eat just one piece of grape, and then that's it. That's their lunch. But anyway, that's another topic altogether. So, so what part of your practice is to heal people through chiropractic, and what kind of your practice is to heal people through maybe nutrition and other ways?
Yeah, well, this model that I showed you, I always try to engage people in as many of these realms as possible, particularly people who have chronic pain or who have been sick for a long time. They have mental, emotional, spiritual, biochemical, structural, and electromagnetic needs. So I try to involve all of those as much as possible to help people get better, because it creates a synergy.
Okay.
If I can be doing something like a Beamer session, I'm a Beamer distributor, and the Beamer is the device that helps the body, the circulation in the body, improves circulation. In the United States, it's a wellness device. So I have them lay on the Beamer while I'm working on their body, doing adjustments, and then I might make a recommendation. Well, if they've got problem with constipation, well, then I give them nutritional advice. They need to drink more water. They need to eat more fiber. And I might give them exercises to do when they go home. Some people come to me just for electromagnetic solutions. Some people come to me just for trauma, mental, emotional, spiritual solutions. Some people come to me just for nutritional solutions.
Okay.
But when people come to me in pain for chiropractic care, I try to engage as many ways as they need to get them better quicker.
Okay.
You know, I ask them, do you want to get better quicker or slower? And the more you're willing to do to change what's happening in your life that's causing the problem, the quicker and more thorough, more complete your success is going to be.
Okay. And what's your success rate? Talking about success.
Yeah, you know, my patients get up off the table and all of them tell me they feel better.
Okay.
You know, whether we're able to, I'm not saying I cure anything, but, you know, definitely people feel better after they see me, and they have tools and knowledge to take with them to continue the healing at home.
Oh, okay. Okay. So after one session, they should have made some kind of progress already.
Yeah, you know, the first session I need to do an examination. What I do is orthopedic tests and neurologic tests. I look at their skin. I call it also a nutritional physical to see if there's any biochemical imbalances. I palpate their organs. So after the first visit, people sometimes don't feel that much better because we're doing an evaluation.
So it needs a second visit.
Yeah, but even after the first visit, I work on them physically, if they're that kind of a patient, in order to help them feel better.
Okay.
So at least they leave feeling as good as they came in.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So on the first session, there might be some treatment right there, just even for
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Always there's some treatment, always in the first visit.
Okay. And then the second session, a little bit longer, maybe.
Yeah, the second session is more devoted to just therapy and treating them. I don't have to gather the facts about what's wrong or what's caused the problem, because I already did that in the initial session.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, and then if it's up to them to see if the pain persists or not.
Well, sometimes I recommend a treatment program. You know, I might recommend that they have a certain number of visits and then we reevaluate. Some people like to come in and just say, okay, let's see how this goes.
Oh.
But if you've had a problem for a long time, you know, I sometimes create miracles, but not always.
Okay. All right. Did you ever create a miracle?
Yeah, sure. Sometimes patients went out of the room feeling better than they'd ever felt, and they don't come back and see me again.
Oh, that's a good story.
Well,
So-
it's a good story whenever they get tools and resources, too, to help themselves.
So these
stay good
patients
at
are
home.
going to give you a testimony then?
Yeah, and you can go to my website and you can see plenty of testimonials from patients happy that are patients. Actually, one of my patients just called me a miracle worker.
She did?
It was a man.
Oh, it's a man. Okay.
Yeah, that was a man.
So he's pain-free now?
I definitely helped him a lot. He had to come back for 3 or 4 more visits, but he's definitely back on in the saddle, as they would say, an expression. He's back to doing his normal life again.
That's wonderful. And you're in Marin County, right?
That's right. My office is in San Rafael.
Oh, San Rafael.
But
Okay.
also, I have online education that I do. I've got my book, you know, so there's ways that I help people without you having to come and see me one-to-one.
All right. All right. Sounds good. So thank you so much. It was informative.
Wonderful.
And I guess you helped some people see a few things, not everything, but you opened our eyes in some directions.
I hope so. Wonderful.
So I appreciate you taking the time to do that.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, and we hope to hear from you more. And I'm sure you're going to do more public speaking and all that stuff. So thank you so much.